Hey everyone, Jason here. This is going to be a really quick demonstration on what I believe to be a very simple long screw damage repair. I run into this a lot on iPhone 6s with the bottom right hand screw hole damaged, and I thought I would show you exactly what it is that I've been doing to fix them. This one here has really been pretty simple. So I'm going to start with a quick microscope evaluation here to show you exactly what it is that we are up against. And if we have a look here at our bottom left screw hole, everything looks good. There's no damage in the bottom of the screw hole. If we look at the middle screw hole, everything looks good. Not really anything to speak of there. And if we look at the bottom right screw hole, it looks like it's been pounded, right? Pounded in the bottom right hole. So, symptoms. Here's what we were up against. If I were to hook power to this thing, let's see, let's give you that view there. I'm going to slide this thing up under that camera so you can see it. I am going to take my handy dandy little tweezers here and I'm going to apply 4.2 volts to the battery rail. And when I do that, we should get 0 amps. And we do. Now, I am going to go ahead and push the power button and we get 800 milliamps. This one actually starts to climb a little bit and then drops back to 800 milliamps and then it just completely totally bombs out. So, bottom right screw hole. Let's see what we're up against. We are going to open up the bottom right screw hole inside of ZXW tool. And I'm going to show you what it is that causes these things to hang up like that. If we zoom right in here and look at these lines, immediately affected here at the bottom right screw hole, we have PP3B0 Mesa, so we've got a line for Touch ID. But then these other two lines, we've got AP to I2C1 SCL, so we've got a clock line, and we've got AP I2C1 SDA. We've got a data line. And what has happened on this phone, and I only know this, I'm not just like guessing, and also the mic I normally use is gone in my wife's car. So I'm not just guessing, this is something that I've been running into really commonly, and I thought if I show the world how to fix it, I might actually run into this less commonly. Although, I don't know, I guess it is kind of nice to have like a bread and butter gravy repair here where like you're the only one, and when you see them it's like but come on, I'm actually trying to help here. So I'm going to show you how to fix this. 800 milliamps and brain dead. Wait, no, 80 milliamps and brain dead. And pounded in the bottom right screw hole, iPhone 6. So the first thing that we're going to do, we are going to remove the screw hole. To do that, I'm going to anchor this thing nicely to the table here, right here in front of me. And as I remove the screw hole, I'm going to give you the microscope view. Let's see, let's leave these tweezers, let's get them out of the way. I got to rearrange because my irons and stuff cross paths with my tweezers, and it is a royal pain in the ass. So, screw hole. Bring forth the sacrificial screw hole. Now also, I'm going to be trying to do this as a repair, which means I'm going to try to do this without fucking up Touch ID, which is right here nearby. And you don't want to fuck up Touch ID, because if you do that, people will go absolutely insane and call you names and everything else. So let's try to be sure and send these out the door with working Touch ID. Shall we? Alright, I think the screw hole is fairly well in focus. You've got me on the screen. I'm going to add a little bit of flux to this screw hole. Now for this, I'm going to use our little J-tip. And in this case, the J-tip is a T15JS02. Got a little flux on the screw hole. I'm going to use the bent side of this because it's got more concentrated heat. So I've got a little bit of leaded solder on my tip, and I'm going to put the iron on the screw hole, and it should come right off. You'll see it the heat just travel around in a circle. Don't make me look like a moron. I'll lift it right off of there. Okay. Now we're going to take some desoldering braid. And we're going to clean that up just a bit. Yeah, this is one of the more easy long screw repairs. Like I highly doubt that I'm going to be running any traces here. What happens for the most part is, here it is. the ground plane of the PCB gets pushed into one of those lines. Now, if I was feeling more creative and anxious to demonstrate things right now to you or to myself, I could check and see if we've got a short to ground on that line. I could check and see, wonderful things like that. Or I could just take an X-Acto blade and carve a hole into this fucking PCB, because I've run into this at least, I don't know, more than a half a dozen times now. I've done this repair here, I've done repeatedly, to the point where I know that we've got a data line inside this hole shorted to ground, and that's why we've got 80 milliamps and brain dead. And I don't even know if it's solid shorted, but it's just, you'll see here once we get carved down to this thing. And also, I'm trying to leave a lot of the ground plane here, because in this case you can actually reattach the screw hole if you do it carefully. Remember, we're trying to preserve Touch ID, and I don't want to have to resolder. Right here nearby we've got a supply for Touch ID, and it floats really, really easy, and it detaches really, really, really easy. All right, is anybody ready to see the end of the easiest long screw repair in the world? Okay, so we'll rake a little bit of the stuff out of the way. Now, mind you, all I have done is remove the screw hole, right? That's it, remove the screw hole. Get some alcohol on here and see what our trace looks like. This one's going to make me look like a jackass, and it's actually TriStar failure. Watch. Okay. Now, at this point, folks, I would normally just like stop. But I would really like to show you this trace. So I'm going to dig a little farther. Okay. Well, let's not make things worse than it is. And honestly, since I don't have more of a visual here, I'm not confident that that is the actual cause on this one. However, if I hook this up to power and this PCB boots, I can just see there's going to be like 2 out of every 8 phones that come in are going to have the bottom right screw hole already removed and a hole carved in it. What do you want to bet me? Let's see if this thing will do anything differently, okay? So seriously, all we've done is remove the bottom right screw hole. And let's see if it'll boot. Remember, 80 milliamps and brain dead. You've got I2C lines under the bottom right screw hole. And when I see that little cookie cutter donut shape going down into the PCB, combined with 80 milliamps and brain dead, it's almost always the bottom right screw hole. But you got to have visual damage. TriStar can also cause 80 milliamps and brain dead. A missing I2C resistor, a pull-up missing, can be 80 milliamps and brain dead. Something shorted to ground somewhere that's pulling one of the I2C lines to ground can be 80 milliamps and brain dead. So it's kind of nice to have that visual representation of screw hole damage. So we're going to plug a screen into this phone this time. Did I have a screen plugged into it last time? I do not remember because it's been a long day. And let's grab our handy little tweezer things. Plug them into the supply. Dun, 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 all right, short them straight together and make sure we're drawing a nice firm 5 amps. And we're going to hook the supply up to this phone, and we should be 0 amps. All right, we get 0 amps. Next, we're going to push and hold the power button, and we get 80 milliamps. We get 100 milliamps. We get 180. We get all kinds of stuff because this phone is booting to connect to iTunes. Who did this come from? Well, they're probably not going to be really, really, really happy, but, well, Wow, what a real bummer. This is not going to be one that I have traces cut under. This sucker's going to need a software restore. I'd be really surprised if anything other than a software restore gets us back up and running, because having the I2C line shorted in that spot would not cause anything like software related here. I almost wonder if this thing had intermittent behavior. Who knows what could have happened that caused these people to be after a software restore. I'm not going to continue carving down to the traces. I'm just not going to. I don't have a reason to, other than just for the sake of show. And make no mistake about it, I am doing this to make money. I'm doing the videos and stuff a lot for fun and because it helps bringing in more repairs. But as far as the actual sitting here carving into this damn thing with a number 11 X-Acto blade, this I am doing for money. So let's tin this with leaded solder. I'm going to put just a fuzz of flux on it. Why do I have my hot air on? Because I don't need it yet. Alright, just a fuzz of flux on it. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of leaded solder. I really didn't clean that off very good, did I? You know, I'm not trying to get a lot here. More what I'm after, you know, just a few little blobs like that. More of what I'm after here, more than like getting a lot of solder on here, is just getting it switched, because I would like to do this next spot, this next little step here with leaded solder, because I don't want to fuck up the Touch ID power supply nearby. So I'm going to go ahead and reattach the screw hole. The most pathetic long screw damage repair in the world. Unshort the I2C line. Only normally I can actually see that it was shorted. This one I couldn't see it, so that makes me a little uneasy, but not that uneasy because I've done it so many times. Now I'm being excruciatingly careful here because I don't want to float right here nearby. We've got an I believe you would say LDO. You've got a power supply for Touch ID here. And right here we've got our screw hole. So we've got our screw hole reattached. All I've done is relieved the little bit of pressure from the I2C line. This iPhone 6 Plus had some pressure. Or wait, no, this is an iPhone 6, had some pressure. We're going to blow the remainder of the alcohol out of there. And then I'm going to put it back in a housing to make sure this thing still boots. So, I about had enough of these fandom shorts. It's like, I know that it's shorted in there. Like, I know that it's shorted. And I can usually peel the screw hole back and prove that it's shorted. But in this case, I wasn't able to prove it because I wasn't able to see it. Okay. Ta-da! And this time we're booting on battery power, and we go straight to connect to iTunes. So this thing is absolutely going to need a software restore to get it back up and running. Who knows what the situation on this one was? Chances are, since we had long screw damage in the bottom right hole, somebody was already troubleshooting something whenever this happened. It was sent here as board only, so I don't know the exact story behind it, but I got a feeling my next steps from here are going to be software restore to see what we're up against. So guys, that was the most pitiful long screw damage repair in the world. Normally it's a little more visual than that. You peel back just the little bit there that's all crushed in, and you'll see where the ground plane is actually touching one of the I2C lines there. But in this case, it wasn't exactly just completely visible. However, experience tells me that this was going to fix it, and it fixed it. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to move on to my next repair. I hope you all have successful repairs. I really thank you for watching, and I thank you for your comments, your likes. Thanks for subscribing, and I'm going to keep it coming. Have a good day, everybody. I'll see you next time. So I wanted to record a quick clip of one of the next phones that I ran into that had the same exact symptoms that also wound up being the same exact cause. But as nature's way of telling me not to plan ahead or plan to do anything, the whole entire thing recorded without sound. All you got is a ground hum. So I'm going to sort of walk you through just a little bit of this here and then show you a clip of that video where I'm actually checking this before digging a hole in it. So here we have ZXW tool on the screen. And you'll see that we have the I2C1 data line available here at this pin on the Touch ID connector, and we have the I2C1 clock line available at this pin here on the Touch ID connector. The traces under this screw hole, if they are cut, then you're not going to have Touch ID anyways, because those traces are on their way to the Touch ID connector for data communications. So I'm going to show you the part of my video here that turned out without any sound. God, I planned it so well. No sound. Golly. So, where's it at? Anyways, all right. So what I'm doing here, and all you can hear is ground hum, so you're not missing anything. So what I'm doing here is I've put my black probe on ground, and I've put my red probe on the I2C1 data line. And we got 4.5K. Now if we check the clock line, we get 500 ohms. Did you guys see that? 27, was it 2730? It's 2730, okay? So there's our clock line at 500 ohms. Man, I did such a good demonstration too. Let's do this one more time. So here's our I2C1 data line to ground, 4.5K. And then here's our I2C1 clock line to ground, 500 ohms. Now those lines, those are running under this screw hole. Now keep in mind, this isn't the same phone you just watched. This is the next phone, same symptoms. So let's skip forward in this video. When I recorded this video, I did not, my J-tip is burnt up, so I didn't have a good J-tip, so it took me like forever to pull the screw hole off. Let's skip forward here. Man, I said some good stuff too. You guys would probably really like to hear all this. You want to hear it? Here's what it sounds like. Huh? You like that? Ground hum, the whole fucking video. I'll sit here and pour my heart out to all my YouTube viewers, and the headset I had on had a broken wire. So here we are. We're going to pull the screw hole off. Right now I'm talking about my little speech about Touch ID, pointing here at the driver. Whenever these traces, if they're severed, you don't have Touch ID anyway. Hey, let's turn off the ground hum. Wait. I'm looking at the mouse arrow on my capture. All right, so ground hum is off. We're going to remove the screw hole with the tip that I don't normally use. I'm using my long bent tip. It took me forever to remove the screw hole. You know what? I might have realized the audio wasn't recording and then stopped the video before I checked that measurement again. Did I record myself checking this? Man, I hope I did. So the next thing I did, I put some flux on it, yada, yada, yada. We wicked it off. Let's skip forward. I talk about how deep it is, and I talk about holes and all the other stuff that makes people keep clicking on videos. And we continue to move forward. We're carving it out, yada, yada, yada. We're skipping forward. I know I'll probably get thrown under the bus for skipping through this second video, but come on, the whole thing recorded without any sound. What am I supposed to do? All right, so we carved it. Oh, fuck, I'm realizing that I don't have any sound. I do take the measurement. Okay, cool. I was going to think about how bad this is going to be. Sweating. Look at me getting all nervous because I realized that my whole video is falling apart. It's like, I just recorded for 45 minutes and my sound wasn't rolling. Look at it turning red and shit. All right, so here we go. I got black probe on ground. Okay, here's what we wanted. We want to see if our short's cleared, right? All right, we got black probe on ground. Here's our clock line. Almost 12,000 ohms, and here's our data line. Almost 12,000 ohms. Now, keep in mind, guys, all I did here, once again, was remove the screw hole. This was another phone where you really could not see that the traces were visible, but 500 ohms, you know, we're not talking about copper to copper. 500 ohms is not ground plane touching the trace. There is some bit of dielectric in between, something that's not a full conductor, some bit of resistance. 500 ohms is what we got through the data line to ground. So here's the phone in front of me. Let's see. Screw hole reattached. And I'm going to push the power button. This one was 800 milliamps in boot looping. And now it's 200 milliamps and booting. Apple logo. Yay! Dun, 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 dun. And you're going to know it's a different phone too, because the last phone started up to the last phone started up to a restore, right? Which, by the way, I never did get that one to restore. I did not. Dun, 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 dun. What was that one? That was an Air 9 phone. It's been 2 days. I recorded the first part of this video 2 days ago. And yes, I do change my shirt every 2 days. I'm kidding. You mother... It's going to have a bad battery now, you know it? Watch this. Pull the power. Off. Bad battery. Oh, the prior repairs. This phone here, this was a... I opened it up because it came in, it had a battery replacement done before, and then... So I opened it up and found the long screw damage, along with the 80 milliamps and brain dead. You know, that's a no-brainer. What's this? This is an iPhone 6. That's my iPhone 7 battery. I've been looking for that thing for days. All right, let's boot this thing up off of a battery that's not shot, so you can watch the phone boot that I didn't just fix in this video. Remember, this is the next phone. Same exact procedure. I pulled the screw hole off of it, carved back the shit, put the screw hole back on it. And you can open this phone and look at it, and you won't even be able to tell I did anything to it. Now this one also had to have TriStar replaced, and I took the board out, and, you know, stuff was falling off of it and crap like that too. Now I'm all paranoid about audio. I keep staring at that screen to make sure my gain's moving, or my meter's moving. Dun, 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 dun. Bottom right screw hole keeps me from eating out of the trash can. All right, so it thinks it's like nighttime or something. The screen just went into gray mode, and there we go. We have lock screen, and I'm going to slide the power off, and we are going to call an end to this video on top of the last video. Guys, I do want to say that I really appreciate your comments. I really appreciate all the likes and all the positive support that I've gotten from everybody. But at the same time, I want to apologize. There's a lot of you that leave me comments, and I read every single comment, but I feel really bad. Sometimes I don't know how to respond, because although I'm completely open here talking to a camera that's not going to talk back to me, whenever it comes to... gosh, how do I say it? I don't know. I'm a total social phobe. I've lived most of my life as a hermit. I don't relate well with other people. You put me into a social environment and I will make shit awkward in a hurry, because that's just that's just how I am. You know, I'm in my mid-30s. I've learned to accept things, and I've learned to really enjoy life the way that it is. So when you do leave me comments and stuff, I really appreciate it. I try to give all you guys a thumbs up. Some of you I'll respond to, but I can't possibly respond to all these comments. There's just too many of them. But I do want to express my gratitude. I'm really grateful for it. Every time I see comments come up, it's just like, it makes me feel really good. It makes me want to keep posting videos, and it keeps us going. So guys, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you have successful repairs, and it seems like anytime I start to record a video, it's not exactly what it's supposed to be, but there you have it. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.